Okay, I believe we are live. Maybe not. There we go. I think we're live now. So we're going to do a another sort through some cards that I've gotten from Cardhalla. I think I could be wrong, but I think this is all stuff from 2024. Um, I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what this is. So, you see, I have a box here. Um, Previously, I kind of gone through a lot of this stuff. Well, actually, I think I went through a box, and I think my a family member of mine went through a box. And so what happened was, I think they left this box as like they had gone through it, but I didn't get it added to where all the rest of my stuff was. So I actually ended up with this sitting to the side, which is why I still have this. Kind of when I started looking through all my other stuff to, you know, kind of grab out and start, you know, start looking at what I had left that wasn't old stuff. I found this box and it wasn't with like all the stuff that pretty sure I'm pretty sure everything else that I had was from a prior year. So I think this is all stuff from 2024. We'll probably know pretty quickly if there's any like 2024 cards in here. Um, I think this is so Gen Con this year was beginning of August. So I think Bloomborough was came out after that. Um, but we might run into some stuff from some other sets that are 2024. Um, so there's a 2023 card. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's always possible that I don't quite know when the looks like it has a Lord of the Rings symbol, so I'm not quite sure when that set came out. Uh, so it's always possible that came out prior to but there's another 2023 set. I can't imagine there were that many 2023 sets. There's a third one. This from a different set. This 2023. Um, I just can't imagine that looking through that few of cards that I'd run into multiple sets from 2023 if this wasn't a box of stuff from 2024 because that would mean that people had gotten hold of stuff, sorted through it, realized this card's not going to be worth money, and then donated it uh within just a few months uh after 2023 started to Cardhalla. Like that just doesn't seem too likely to me. It seems a lot more likely that this is from 2023, which means these were sets that were released in 2020 or from 2024. That means They were sets that were released in 2023. And it's been almost a year. So starting out, we have some old cards. I'm probably going to do this back row as the newer stuff. Um, and then this front row is kind of like, so this is 5th edition, this is Ice Age. I'll probably put those over to the side. There's another Ice Age card. So kind of interesting that we are running into, I'm going to put that in the center. So there's a 6th edition. Here's a Tempest. Main focus, just try and get first sort to kind of say, okay, what are these? Um, there's like a half a rhino. It's rhino something. Uh, those are always kind of interesting. Actually, I need to look at these because, okay, like this is, okay. Those are 5th edition, that's 4th edition. And these ones are 4th edition. So in the way, if you haven't seen me going through the 5th and 4th edition stuff, so the way you could tell that, let me see if, see how it says right down there, 1997. So 1997 with no symbol is a 5th edition card. 1995 with no symbol is a 4th edition card. No date with just like illustrated and the name in a little bit bigger font is revised, um, which is technically like 3rd edition, right? Because you had alpha, beta, and then you have unlimited, which was a reprint of beta with white borders, and then revised, right? So like alpha is your 1st edition, right? Well, depending on how you look at it. So alpha and beta, I guess, would be your 1st edition, right? Unlimited would be your 2nd edition because there were some changes between beta and unlimited. Mostly, wait, were there changes between beta and unlimited? Maybe I'm thinking, maybe 5th edition. I might be doing this wrong. Maybe this is 3rd and this is 4th. And then revised to 2nd? We'll know pretty soon. So, like, there's a 7th edition. I can't remember if there's a V. If there's a V set symbol, then that's 5th edition. Um, there's portals. That symbol there. Still have a few cards mixed in here, so flesh and blood. So hmm, that looks that's different. I guess a full art card. I don't know if that's if commons of those are worth anything or not. Uh, I'd guess probably not since it got donated to Cardhalla, but you never really know for sure. There's strongholds. Interesting. I think that's a land card. There's another Tempest. Another Portal. Alliances. And another Ice Age. And another Stronghold and another whatever. I'm a little bit annoyed that I cannot remember if that's 3rd or 4th edition now. Vampire Bats. Vampire Bats. See, there's another 6th edition. I really feel like there might be a V symbol for 5th edition. This is Chronicles, I believe. So it's kind of confusing, but 1995 white border with a set symbol is Chronicles. It's a reprint of a set. What's really weird is that some of these 1995 from this 1995 edition are reprints of sets. They just, when they released this edition, they decided not to do a set symbol. Um, from then on, they kind of, well, 1997 they didn't, I guess. But yeah, at some point, I think somebody realized that was kind of a bad idea. So, man, that is a really was Shapeshifter ever like just the print on this is really kind of crisp. I don't know if Shapeshifter was like if you just look at the difference in these prints. Um, I mean, maybe it's like, every once in a while they'll miss ink. But it doesn't really seem like that. Because it just looks a lot lighter. Um, and just a lot crisper. Uh, back in 1995, the printing just wasn't that great. Even stuff like, hey, does this have a black or blue core? There are cases where wizards had the wrong core in their stuff for some of the printers. It's rare though. Um, and I think it's pretty widely known. I'm going to have to do. So there's a Mirage card. I'll have to do some videos on how to tell if a card is real or not. So, for one thing, if I ever want to sell these, um, which I don't know if I will. I might just hold on to them, honestly. It doesn't, like, I'm doing this as a hobby, kind of, and I've always kind of wanted to try to, like, just collect as many different Magic the Gathering cards as possible. Like, not like as many like just cards, but like as many unique cards. Like try to collect entire sets of cards. So, although I mean, some of these older sets that I've gone through, you've seen I've had like over a dozen copies of some of them. So maybe it doesn't make sense to hold on to that many copies of the same card. So, but I think anything that's worth money that I would sell would it's just like I'm not going to have a lot of copies of those. Well, I guess I did have like a bunch of Mystic Remoras and a bunch of like Arcane Discharge or something. There's a Fallen Empires, a lot of red elemental blasts. So maybe those are cards that actually are worth selling. There's an 8th edition. Kind of interesting that at some point they don't really do the white borders anymore. I'm glad they've dropped that. Um, I'm sure there's some people that like having the white borders, but here's part of my problem. If you're looking at the side of a card, you could tell these are white borders, right? I mean, just look at that. Like, um, in like, even if I turn it, like, let's say I have my deck, you know, sitting there, like, or let's say I'm shuffling my deck, right? Like, I could tell that there's a white border on these cards. And I've always kind of questioned, like, well, it always makes me kind of wonder if part of the reason why people, like a lot of people will be like, oh, I like white borders for my lands and stuff. Um, oh, look at that, counterspell. I know that's actually probably worth a couple bucks. Um, but you know how like there's people that'll be like, oh, I like white borders for my lands. Um, and I've always kind of questioned a little bit in the back of my mind, like, is that so that when you're shuffling your deck, it's easy to kind of just go like this and be like, oh, I don't want to keep that like that way. I want to keep on shuffling, right? Because, like, let's say all these white cards are your lands, right? And you're shuffling your deck before a match, right? You know you have a whole bunch of black cards in a row, you have a whole bunch of white cards in a row. And so, based on like mana weaving, which gives you a pretty good advantage because you're never like if these white cards are mixed in, right, and these black cards are mixed into the white cards, like if you know it's fairly evenly spread out, you're not going to end up in a situation where like you don't draw, like you go like the top 10 cards of my deck, right? I mean, look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards there. So let's say your opponent, you know, cuts the deck, right? You draw 7 off the top, and then for the next 6 turns, you have no lands. Like, you're not going, like, you're going to have to mulligan, right? So let's say you mulligan. You go, okay, I get rid of my top 7 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a mulligan. And then, oh, look at that. I drew 6 and I have 1 land, right? That's still probably a terrible hand. And then, even if I did that, right, my next 2 cards are going to be lands, right? Or I guess, I don't know where all my white cards went. I thought I had more. But, like, you know, you're potentially not going to want to do that. And so part of me has always questioned a little bit in my head, like, is that what people are doing? Like, hey, I better make sure like I have like if I have white cards in my deck, then I'll have a really easy time. Like if those are my mana cards, telling whether or not my deck's shuffled well. They're not like even like right because randomness would say you should have sometimes, 10 cards in a row in your deck or more even. Like if you go flip a coin, you know, it's a 50-50, right? Another just kind of weird, like I guess that's that. Um, like if it's a 50-50, like if you ever actually go and do it, like you're going to have like let's say you flip a coin 100 times, right? Well, where are your chances of getting, how many times are you going to have 6 coins in a row? They're heads or tails, right? Well, if your chances of having one heads or tails is 1 and 2, right? So 2 is 2 and 4, right? 3 is, you know, or 2 is 1 and 4, right? 3 is 1 and 8, 16, 32, 64, right? Chances are you're going to have 6 heads or 6 tails in a row, probably more than once, because that would just be your chances of having like 6 heads in a row would be 1 in 64 uh, times that you'll have 6 heads in a row, and you're flipping it 100 times, right? So, you know, your chances are probably you're going to have like 3 or 4 times where you have 6 in a row. You might even have 7 in a row. Uh, and so if you start looking at lands, right? Well, half your deck's not land, right? Um, maybe a third of your deck is land. A Pokemon card. Haven't seen many of those. I think my uh, family member tried to pull most of them out. Looks like they missed one. Um, but like, let's say you, right? Let's say a third of your deck. Let's just say a quarter of your deck is lands, like white border lands, right? You might have a few other mana sources in there that aren't a land, right? But they're not white border, so you're not going to be able to track those, right? But your chances of having, 10 cards in a row in a 60 card deck when it's a 1 and 4, right? Like, pretty high actually. Um, so, you're looking through there, and if you see that, you go, oh, well, I'm just going to keep on shuffling. Make sure they're spread evenly. Not deemed Wanderlust. I don't think Wanderlust is worth anything. I'm just going to toss it over here though, because we'll scan it and then we'll see for sure. Um, yeah. I don't know. Hmm. I don't really know what they've done because it's not foil. Like, it is a foil card. Well, like this one's not foil. This one is foil. It's a common card though, so I don't know if they've just done that to make it easier to put the things in. But yeah. I mean, trust me, mana weaving is like, I hate to admit it, but I- I'm pretty sure I used to do the same thing. Or like mana weave. Yeah, I didn't really think of it as mana, like as being like really like giving you a big advantage or anything. I just, you know, and I think just about everybody I knew, I suspected did the same type of thing where like, let me go through my deck and, oh, I got like screwed over really bad in that game. But, had 10 cards in a row where, there wasn't any lands. Let me go through, how many lands do I have in here? Do I need to add more lands? And you pull all your lands out and you're like, okay, I have, you know, 18 lands. Maybe I'll add one more in. Okay, 19 lands. What one card am I pulling out? Okay, I'm pulling out this card. And then you do a pile shuffle, right? And then shuffle your cards together and do a couple shuffles and then play your next game. Right? And all of a sudden, oh, I don't have any land issues. Well, yeah, you shuffled your cards. But like a 52 card deck, like of poker cards, you've shuffled like 7 times for it to truly be random, right? Match the card gathering cards 60 cards, right? And even then, like so let's say you shuffle it, 4 times, right? Your land's probably still going to be fairly decently sorted through. Looks like that's another one of those full like art cards. So haven't seen a lot of those uh, until recently. Although I haven't really been looking at the newer cards much. Um, Let me tell you, you can just tell that this is a more recent set, right? Because there's so many of the newer, right? If you watch the last two videos, right? This with like spear, those cards that were from like that date range, we had, like 2 or 3 stacks of them. There's another Chronicles. Um, but this time we have way more of the new cards. All right. Yeah, what were we talking about? Mana weaving? I don't know. I think part of it just depends on if you're playing with a group of friends and it's kind of understood that like, hey, everybody like if you're playing with a group of friends, I wouldn't I'd want to mana weave probably with my friends and I'd want them to mana weave, right? Because like if I'm going to sit down and play, like maybe not like I still want you to shuffle and stuff, but mana weave your deck and then shuffle it, right? And like yeah, I don't need you to shuffle it 7 times, right? Just enough that it's exciting and we don't really know what's going to come up next, right? But I don't want to win just because, you know, you had two land in your hand, so you kept it and then didn't get a third land in your next 7 cards, right? Like, that doesn't sound fun. There's another counter spell. Whew, that's crazy. I mean, I think that just means I think counters cards in general have gone down a little bit in price. I think people maybe haven't cared as much, especially counterspell. I want to say counterspell's down to like $1 or two. Especially when you're talking like I don't think that was it's not in bad condition at all. So, but I mean it's probably a couple bucks. So, if you had a bunch of cards and you knew, hey, maybe I had a counter spell, but I missed it. Where is it? Am I going to go through all these cards again to find my $2 counter spell? Maybe not. So, um, anyway, back to mana weaving. Like if I'm playing with big group of people, another one like full art card. If I'm playing with a group of people, like I want to have fun games. I don't want to win just because, you know, like I want to win maybe because luck was on my side and I got lucky and drew like I want to win because I'm good. I don't want to win because you're unlucky, right? Like even if it's I won because I'm lucky, like that sounds great. But I won because you had bad luck. Like that just doesn't sound fun to me. So maybe I have a different view on like definitely if it was a tournament or something, I'd be like, no. No, you should be your cards should be random, right? Like that's how the game's supposed to be played. Although I guess there's something to be said if you're playing with your friends and there's a rare uh Kragenwick Cremator. Um if you're playing with your friends and you're planning to play in tournaments, I mean maybe you do want everybody's to be really random. Another rare. Uh because if people's decks aren't random, then potentially you're going to get a view of your deck as being better than it really is. And not being able to handle a situation where you just have really bad luck. So I guess there's something to be said for that, but I do think if you're with a group of friends and you want to mana weave, then probably everybody should have a conversation about it and define what's acceptable for mana weaving and what's not. Oh, that's cool. That This is a black border. 1994, The Dark. I only have two other copies of the Dark cards. Uh, so uh, that's uh, that's fun to see. So I guess there's still some, pretty old cards that are getting donated to Cardhalla. Now I don't think. I mean, it's Flood. Like we've looked up Flood before, and it's you know it's a 10-cent card. Like bottom of the pricing for any of the cards in these sets, unfortunately. Um, but I don't know. Considering as a hobby, like I kind of want to. Part of what I'm wanting to do is see like just how much of all the different sets worth of cards I can get. You know, if I get close enough, I might actually just order some cards online. Um, sure, they might be in terrible condition. like, like a lot of these cards are not in great condition. Um, yeah, like the dark card, you could just see all the white on the edges. I mean, I'm sure that's part of the reason why, like, somebody donated that and they probably realized the terrible condition they were in. Okay, I'm running out of room here. Yeah, I'm not really running out of room. That's the sad thing, too. Like, I have plenty of room to go through. Uh, it almost looks like a full art, but it still has the black border around it, which is kind of interesting. I thought the full art cards didn't have black borders. Maybe some of some of them did, and then later they decided, hey, like the black border still makes it look like it's not a full art card. I don't know. Okay, how do I handle this? Maybe just move these down. I can move this to here. So I'll have another. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. A hummingbird or a humming. This goes the bird part. Okay, there it is. There's a fifth edition, a V. Or no, that's not fifth edition. That's Visions, not fifth edition. Okay. There's a weather light. There's my weather light. Okay. Ooh. That's Legends. Uh but it's a foreign Legends. That's what it is. This is a foreign Legends and I have no idea What a black border foreign legends. Uh, what I do with that? Huh. That is interesting. I'm going to put it with the dark card. Because technically it is legends. I don't know if I have any legends cards, really. Although maybe I have some foreign legends cards. There's another Chronicles. Here's a revised. Man, okay. We're playing that with those. Definitely, well, I think I pulled some of the revised cards out of here when I was sorting through originally. Um, or I think the family member who did this pulled them out. So, I'm just going to say I haven't. There's not been a lot of revised cards, but thinking about it, I think it's just because they got pulled out of here. So maybe this isn't a great estimation of what is good and what isn't. That's, you know what? That's not. No, it is creased. Still going to throw in there. I remember we pulled out. I think we tried to pull out uh, because I think she tried to sort out anything that wasn't Magic Gathering, and she also pulled out any rares, uh, which is the other reason why we have not had many rares. We've had a few, but not many. That was kind of interesting. 2016? Huh. I mean, it's like I don't know what that means. They have a card here with a kind of Magic Gathering symbol there. Uh, which haven't seen that often. So I kind of wonder if it means something. I don't know. It might have just been something they were trying for that set. Lots and lots of cards. Another 1997. Raised Dead. I don't think Raised Dead's worth anything. A little bit damage at the top corner of this card. Yeah, see it. Took a hit, but not going to toss it yet just because I don't think it's a situation where it'll damage any of the cards around it. And I'd like to verify that's not worth anything. It's common. I can't imagine is worth anything. It's a recent common, right? Like, not like super recent, but like, you know, it's not 20-year-old common. Another one of those kind of the border's not as black. Um, we've seen a few of those before with Ice Age. Yeah, I think since we haven't had a like V um I'm thinking this is 5th edition maybe. I say that and then I'm going to be like completely proven wrong. Tempest card. Another Ice Age. Apparently there's some I've seen a picture of albino, one of those like where the entire card is just white and black. So kind of cool. Portals card. It's Minotaur. We know that's. I remember that not being worth anything. So always a little bit disappointing when. Of course, I'm going to get really like good at knowing what's worth something in all these cards, and then someday I'm not going to realize like all the pricing's changed and everything, and you know, you know. I will say it like I'm pretty sure like sometimes people will have donated their entire set um or like their decks and stuff. So like who did is a black or like a blue or, yeah, this is not blue, whatever. Like who donates that you can tell it's kind of late here, isn't it? Maybe 11:30. Keep saying blue instead of orange. Um, People donate stuff, and I kind of think they are donating just their entire deck. Maybe they're just fed up. Like, you know, I bought a popper deck, and it cost me $10, and I lost the tournament, and I never want to see this deck again. So it's just going to Cardhalla or something weird like that. I don't know. I now hate the color orange. This just seems weird. Like, why? I don't know. Why did they make? Sometimes they just try stuff, I think, and I completely screwed up there. I think they try stuff without thinking. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? They didn't think, hey, is this a good idea? Let's change the entire format of how Magic the Gathering cards look, and we'll see whether or not people like it. Right? Surely they won't have any problem with that. And then you could just tell that people had a problem with it because not much later, you know, you're back to. So now I'm. ugh, That doesn't. Okay. That does not work well. I need more cards. So we're going like that. There we go. Place some cards over there. Just to get them out of the way. A Mirage. And that. One colorless, one red, one green for a 1/1 flying protection from blue. I mean, ugh. Just ugh. Like, at least, at least a 2/2. Come on. Like, or put haste on it, or just something. Like, I mean, I know there's better uh flying cards out there for 3 mana, especially when you're talking 3 mana and it's two different. Hey, that is a rare. Sometimes I miss those because it doesn't have the holographic. So Hall of Triumph. I don't know. Yeah, like, I just can't imagine, like, if I spent 3 mana for a 1/1 creature. Like, I mean, unless it has some really like special abilities, which doesn't because it's, is protection from blue really special? I mean, I guess maybe in some format it's the only card like with protection from blue or something weird like that. In which case, yeah, maybe it is a good card then. Um, Another one of these kind of like uh, full art cards. Um, like maybe if it's the only card with protection from blue, you go, oh, that's totally worth it against a blue enemy deck, especially if like everything's banned that can handle flying. Then you could be like, oh, a mono blue deck, and I'll be able to deal 1 damage every turn by spending 3 mana. Like maybe then you're like, okay, yeah, that's maybe worth it. If I summon 4 of those, I'll kill my opponent in 5 turns if they don't gain any life. Um, where there's the visions. Vampire bats. I want to say their song. Like vampire bats. Vampire bats. Just over and over again. And I want to say it's a Weird Al song. But I think that's just because every weird song I think of, I realize is a Weird Al song. Because, like, don't listen to a lot of weird songs that, like, when I was growing up that weren't Weird Al songs. But let me tell you, when I was growing up, like, if not just like was Weird Al like not like a massive thing, but like a decently popular, right? But like artists like basically had the feeling that they knew that they had made it as an artist when Weird Al did a parody of their song. So, he was the whole thing. Uh, so, and it's funny how many songs like I had heard where I was like, that's a weird song, like growing up. Because like growing up, like, man, when did like iPods come out? I wanna say were they out when I was in high school, maybe? Um yeah, maybe they were out when I was in high school. Uh but I didn't I just wasn't that interested. I was more interested in like computers and video games and stuff. Like music just wasn't a massive thing for me. So like when you heard a song or like a friend was playing a song or something, it's not like you saw who the artist was. And so like I had some friends and stuff that would just play like weird music. Uh and like if I got in the car with them on like they'd have a CD of just something really weird. And like as I've grown up, like and listened to more music, and then like realized like how many of those songs were Weird Al songs. Like so many of them were Weird Al songs. Although not all of them. Uh, the song I want to ride my bicycle, want to ride my bike. Apparently that was a Queen song. I think it was Queen. Like, which is just yeah, just weird. Like what were we doing in the 90s? Like the 90s and early 2000s, like it's just to kind of prove my age. Yes, I mean on YouTube, I'm sure somebody like if somebody really wanted to, they'll figure out who I am and everything. I wouldn't be on here if I really cared. So, still care a little bit, but I'm not quite to that the older age where I'm like I just don't care what anybody thinks about me anymore. You know, like if you ever run into somebody who's old who's like that, where they're just living life and having the time of their lives because they stopped caring 10 years ago about anything anybody thought of them, and now they're just doing whatever makes them have the most fun. And so it doesn't matter if it's embarrassing. Uh, it doesn't embarrass them because they don't care what you think of them. I've met a few people like that, especially if they have like a pretty decent amount of money. Like it just becomes uh you know, it becomes a you know, who cares what you say? Well, that's interesting. So we had that shapeshifter earlier. Look at the difference between those two. Like I just don't know. Like, does that seem to indicate that one of them's fake? And the ironic thing is, if one of them's fake, like all of them look like this one. This looks better to me than this one. So I think it's just a matter of the ink on there and not getting as much on one of them. I think. Um, So many of those cards. There's Twiddle Stick Charger. Oh, it's actually. I thought it wasn't a magic card. That's hilarious. Uh, what? The beginning of your upkeep, if you control a contraption, move the crank. Counter to your next sprocket and crank any number of that sprocket's contraptions. Sprocket 1 follows Sprocket 3. Start the game with a crank counter on Sprocket 3. What is this? Oh, it's Wizards of the Coast 2017. I don't know. Maybe it's one of the unsets. Uh, which I've heard rumors. There's like talk of like actually making some of those cards legal. I don't know which ones, but Feisty Stegosaurus? What? That I'm pretty sure is one of the unsets. Blight. Another blind portal card. That's. I want to say this is like Flesh and Blood or something. I don't know. It's not magic though. Another V Heat Wave. Alliance card. Soldevi Sentry. Another Ice Sage. Breath of Dreams. Hot Springs. Another kind of like one of those full art Yeah, it has the sprocket stuff also. Marsh Viper. So 1995. Cool. Tempest. Hey, we're almost done. That's what we have left right here. I don't even want to imagine like how many of these cards. Like I'm going to have to keep on like going back to the old sets that I've done and being like, oh, guess what? I found more cards. And like, what do I do with these? It's not. It's like just an advertising card. Like, Fallen Empires. It's another Ichthian infantry or whatever. Like, there's a rare Refibrillator. Whenever you crank Refibrillator, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Huh. I don't know why I these Fallen Empires. I watched a video of uh what's his name? Randy? Is it Randy? The guy who's like always saying folks. He has a whole bunch of stuff like he says it's in his basement. Although another video I've watched of him says, I'll admit everybody lies and I lie to you guys. It's not in my basement. I keep on saying it's in my basement, but I don't have a basement. Another rare territorial Kavu. Um so like kind of funny. But he was opening Fallen Empires. And I was just kind of laughing about it because we went over Fallen Empires earlier. And I don't know, it was from years back, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago was the video. He was pulling out all these cards, and none of the cards that he pulled out are over $1 today. Like it was goblin grenades and like there was like an amulet of Tarash or something, or like hymn of Tarash or something weird. Tarak, I don't know. But it was like a whole bunch of cards that he was pulling out, and like and he was saying, he was like, I don't know, like what's worth, I don't really keep up on this stuff. I'm not even sure what I'm pulling out has value, but it had value back when I was, when I first opened Fallen Empires and stuff like that. And I think the one card that he said was worth money, which he didn't pull, was Rainbow Valley Veil or something. And that is still like the most expensive card from the set. Now it's like $10 or something. But it was just funny watching him uh pull all these cards out, and none of them were worth anything. And so it's just kind of like, hmm, okay. Like none of them are worth anything today. And so I'm like, has it changed that much? These are some cards that I had to the side. Um, two counter spells from 7th edition. Um, just some like foreign cards. Well, I kind of wanted to add them in since I had them like, well, and that's not a envelope. That might be a decent card. I don't know, but I have so many just random cards that I'm going to have to go through. I have like boxes and boxes of random cards. So what is this? This. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Is that all the same? Is this all like? Nope. No, it's not. Wait. What is this? What is this box? What have I done here? Okay, we have all the most recent cards. Then we have old cards. Okay. Yeah, I just don't like. I don't care enough. Like, it's too much work on this to like actually like be like, hey, this is this specific year, when I'm like, I'm going to be going through these stupid sets uh later anyway. Like, why in the world would I want to go through them multiple times? Like, am I crazy? I'm not crazy. What we're going to do is get this all into like the same box. Right? That way, when I go through and I sort these by set, right? Because I think that's the easiest way to actually get them in like mana box, is to do them by set, right? Then I can be like, oh yeah, all these cards are here all together from the same like dates and stuff. Um, okay. Okay. all that. I'm going to toss these into. I have a bag here. A bag of just other cards. I mean, this is how bad things are. Like I laugh and say how bad things are, but like, yeah, how much just like random stuff I have. Okay, so this was the last couple times I went through and sorted stuff. Um, Actually, these are not. These are just revised cards that I found as I was going through other stuff, I think. So those are going with the revised there. But I think this is all stuff that I found with the last card sort that I was doing that's older stuff. And so we're just going to make sure that these all kind of get into their sets. We're not going to find any dark visions, mirage. Try to kind of get these to where people will see them. I think we'll still have some Ice Age. Alliances, Fallen Empire. Well, now where did I put everything? Alliances. Stronghold, Fallen Empires. Mirage. Where did I put the Mirage? I just moved the Mirage. There it is. Right in front of me. Fallen Empires, Stronghold, Alliances. Tempest. Fallen Empires, Fallen Empires. So much Fallen Empires. Alliances. Probably because, like, Fallen Empires, like, the bottom must have fallen out of it, maybe, or something. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's why, like, Randy was pulling all those cards out and saying they were good, and none of them are. There's a weather light. Where did I put my weather light? There it is. I think the Mirage. Were there some lands that were worth something in Mirage? Okay. So there we go. We've sorted through all these. For some reason, I still have my beta cards over here. Yeah. I need to get those in a box somewhere. But yeah. So we have all of our sets here. I think we are, yeah, we're probably going to do a new stream. This has been an hour and 25 minutes. Actually, I know. I keep on moving things around. This has been an hour and 25 minutes. I think we're going to go ahead and stop this stream. Start a new stream going through these cards because I'm going to have to get the phone set up and the app mana box set up and everything to scan cards. And then we're probably going to go ahead and scan these and add them to the old sets that we already went through. Maybe also kind of look at the prices on those sets and what's gone up and what's gone down. But I think that'll be a good stream. So we're going to go and stop this since it's no longer a like bulk like sort. And then hopefully I don't have anything like we'll have to sort through the sets. Um, but I kind of already separated the cards into like four different categories, like four different ages of Magic the Gathering. Um, and so it should just be a matter of sorting into whatever sets are in that group, um, and then scanning. So hopefully we're moving along pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. I will be right back with a new stream. I'll have to get mana box set up, get a new, well, nobody's watching right now anyway, so uh, no one's going to be waiting to see. Well, it'll probably be a few minutes to get new description, new title, all that stuff. So, be back